Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, May 6th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick right there will still be moving around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So ticker symbol number one, JAGX. And overall, let me do this. Let me move things down so you can see big picture perspective. You can see this thing has definitely got an upwards movement to it. So just keep that in mind, from the bigger picture standpoint. And then as I zoom back in here, because this is where things get a little challenging from my presentation, or from my perspective as, the presenter here, because it depends on your point of view. If you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 2 minutes, well then yes, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad because yeah, the price did pull back. Now from the big picture of things, as you already saw, even you have that set of lows there, you have that set right there, you have that set down there, and if you envision those as stair steps, then these stair steps very clearly still progressing in the upwards direction. Again, I'm well aware that if you're some sort of day trader that bought right there, you probably don't care about these overall stair steps, but that's why I'm trying to distinguish between somebody with a more of a day trader approach and somebody that cares more so about the bigger picture point of view. So yeah, rough pullback, but overall still building those higher bases. Nothing really new to report. The level area that I talked about in the previous video, 27 cents, was actually right where the price found some support. So classic example there of the power of charts. And then 32 cents, main area of resistance. Yes, it was broken, but as soon as the price fell back below it, check it out, went right back to acting as resistance time and time again. So 32 cents remains public enemy number one from the resistance side of things. So again, overall, the chart is still plenty fine as it's putting those higher highs and higher lows. Next one, AAPL. Apple had earnings, so big volume, big gap up, and now it's formed a good solid technical pattern. And this is something that I think a lot of people have drawn. And I make that comment because when a lot of people have drawn the same thing and are wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. So I think a lot of people have drawn that trend line there. Nothing complicated. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that's a great discovery on my part. A lot of people have watched it. Therefore, you can have those potential self-fulfilling prophecies. And then on the flip side of things, we have a pretty clear, well-defined area where the buyer stepped in on the pullback earlier this morning, right down there at 183.40. And then to turn this into a pattern, let's make it one color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the huge explosion up right here. For you golfers, try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price were to come back up here and get the break up through there, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? That's certainly a more than plausible, potential outcome. So if you like bull pennant patterns on very well-known stocks, definitely keep an eye on Apple. Next one, SGBX, and overall, very, very impressive move around this one. But like JAGX, that first one, it all depends on perspective. Day traders, flipper, scalpers that bought right there, wanted to sell within 3 minutes. Yeah, from them, chart looks really, really bad. But if you care about the bigger picture point of view and even look at it from a pattern standpoint, so there's no doubt about it, there has been a pullback here. But again, if you care about things from more of a bigger picture, part of that is saying, yeah, fair enough. The price does have this downwards channel. But what was happening before this downwards channel? And you would say, well, there was this huge explosion up like that, which is now giving me the ability to draw a bull flag pattern. So that's where it's all about the point of views. The day traders that were buying up here, they definitely don't care about this bull flag pattern. But if you care about more so the bigger picture point of view, or just simply like to play bull flag patterns, then I definitely keep an eye on this one next week. Next one, SQQQ. Very rough day on this one. And, a couple different ways to illustrate that just by using supports. So I had this trend line in here. Then you had the pink line, 200 period moving average, purple line, 50 period moving average, all key areas of support. And you can see now the price is all the way down here. So those levels of support, every single one of them got absolutely smashed. These levels up here are no longer really relevant. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a little house cleaning and we can start afresh. Because at this point, if there is any sort of bounce, the newest main and near-term level of resistance I would call right here around $11.25. This is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken. So you can see right here, that was a former area of support, and it was broken on the gap down. They tend to act as resistance, and check it out. That's right where the price essentially act as resistance. So classic example of that former support now acting as resistance. So keep an eye on 26 if there is any sort of attempted bounce. As far as levels of support, nothing fancy or complicated here logic-wise. Literally just a question of where did the bleeding finally stop? And the bleeding finally did stop down here at that level of $11. So keep an eye on that for, like I said, no fancy reasoning other than that's where enough buyers finally stepped in to prevent the price from going down any further. But overall, yeah, very rough day for the chart here. Next one, TSLA Tesla. And overall, things are just fine. Now, I realize that if you're looking at it just today, disappointing day because it gapped up. Opening 30 minutes, you can see right there via that green candle. Good, solid green candle, and then a very, very nasty red candle right there. Brought it all the way down here. But as it brought it down, to give credit where credit's due, it once again held strong at 179.20, and that'll mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched the past videos because you know that I've been talking about that one already. But overall, it did hold up just fine. Came down slightly below before bouncing back upwards. And now it's struggling with that purple line, which again, I talked about yesterday, would be that initial area of resistance. You can see right here, that's where it got rejected from. And now it's struggling right there. So that'll be the near-term area of resistance. But even if it breaks above there, I wouldn't get overly excited because you still do have to worry about the 186 mark. But on that same token, I wouldn't focus too much on 186 until the price can prove itself by getting above that purple line there, the 50-period moving average. But that's kind of my long way of saying the price continues to chop around inside of this sideways pattern. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to sign up. Or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one, AMC, and very, very nice day. And in fact, as I speak, check it out. And this is why I like to do these when the market's still open. Look at this last 30 minutes here. Huge volume bar, nice green candle. So more of the story here, this wedge pattern that I had drawn previously has officially been broken out, and now the price is getting continuation through there. So very, very impressive movement for sure. And now the next key battleground, resistance-wise, that I'm curious about. And actually, essentially right where the price got rejected, right up there at 338. You can see back here that this was a former area of support. And when levels of support are broken and closed below, as we've discussed, they tend to act as resistance. And right there, you can see an example of that. But, I mean, in all actuality, the market still doesn't close for 10 minutes. So who knows? Maybe by the time you're watching this and you're looking at the chart, the price is up above $3.38. And if that's the case, well, then you would just transition things a little bit, because right now we're talking about, can it break? Can it get the breakout? But if the price does close above it, you would say, okay, the price has gotten the breakout, but now you get to ask the very exciting question, and is this the start of something even bigger? But regardless, 338 going to be a key level to watch moving forward. In terms of levels of support, for those people that like to play pullbacks, that green key area of support, and what would make the chart look the strongest moving forward, right there at 320. But from the overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line right there, 50-period moving average. Keyword being moving, because from the overall standpoint, that line will move itself higher and higher. So as long as the price stays above that purple line, as the line itself moves higher and higher, the bulls are in full control. Next one, BENF. Very nice pattern here, so I'm going to get this drawn into play pretty quickly. So we have our area of resistance there. We have our area of support right there. Maybe you see where I'm headed with this. So let's get things the same color. So we have our resistance and our support. Yes, there is a downwards channel, but if you care about more so the bigger picture, you're going to ask that question, well, what was happening before the downwards channel? You would say there is this huge explosion right there. And then at that point, it's a bull flag pattern. So once again, if you like the bull flag patterns, you like stocks down in this price range, then I would definitely keep an eye on BENF. Next one, PLTR, and this is, again, one of these where it's a pattern. Got to think a lot of people are watching it, so I'm going to go through it very quickly. I want to honor your time. No need to repeat myself, but I do want to at least get the pattern drawn up here. So let's change that to green. Make it the same color. So we have our resistance. We have our support. We have the nice upwards move here. We have the golf hole somewhere around here. Another general bull pennant pattern. So I realize that's not as clean, but the point here being is there is this big surge. Now it's consolidating out. So does it get the continuation of the upside? If you like these sorts of situations and patterns, then definitely keep an eye on PLTR. Next one, OPEN, and same general idea here, although, yeah, I'll do this very quickly. You could call this a bull flag. I'm not going to say that's wrong, but this is a much bigger pullback. I think the more interesting dynamic here is that, yeah, this thing's looking relatively ugly, but there can be opportunity ugly, and the question mark that I have is, okay, big, nasty pullback. What's it going to do when it gets down to these key areas of supports, the 50 period and 200 period moving average? And those lines aren't the exact same, but they're same in the general vicinity. So it's more than valid to think, again, no guarantees, but is it plausible to think that the price could come down here and then get a bounce back upwards? That is certainly a plausible scenario, but there's no doubt about it. This thing's looking pretty ugly. So risk management matters. So if you're not going to be a disciplined trader, I mean, you shouldn't be trading at all, but that's another video. But you definitely shouldn't be trading in these situations where things are looking pretty ugly. But if you can time it up right, you can definitely structure yourself some nice risk versus reward trade plans. Next one here, TQQQ. Very nice day. Although not the most exciting thing in the sense of exploding upwards, but the exploding upwards basically happened during the early part of the day with that gap up. But what I say, we'll say we have, in fact, let me just delete these out. But we have a very, what I'll call, self-fulfilling prophecy type level here, because you got to think everybody and their brother's uncle has noticed that this $57 mark has been very, very stubborn on this one, just time and time again rejected from it. But the nice thing and what makes this very interesting is that throughout the course of the day, this thing just kept putting in higher and higher lows. So you have a nice tight little wedge here that has formed. Now that still does not guarantee anything, but it makes it more than plausible. Nobody could accuse you of being some degenerate gambler that's just randomly doing things. There's nothing random about thinking, wow, look at these higher lows, well-defined level of resistance. So if it can break above there, that could very well set off some stop losses, cause other breakout players to buy. So there's going to be a lot of interest, at least in my opinion, right up there at the $57 mark. So keep an eye on that. If you do like to play more so the pullbacks, then the interesting level down here right around that level at 55.70. But in my opinion, at least, by far the most intriguing dynamic is those higher lows and the fact that the price has been rejected from 57 so many times. So you got to think that there's going to be so many eyeballs watching it. Now, I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders out there, if you enjoyed what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely go get signed up for that free live webinar next week. It'll be Thursday, May 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So go get signed up, and I hope to see you there. Now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. We are no longer looking at the 30-minute time frame. We're looking at the 4-hour time frame, meaning each of these represents 4 hours. I like to do that time frame because I want this, given that Bitcoin's open 24/7, I want this analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible, and use this longer time frame allows for that. So let me just state the obvious first. Since the last update I was talking about, okay, what's it going to do in regards to that resistance? And we got our answer. Look at that 4-hour period right there. Absolutely boomed, came up to the purple line there, and is now breaking above it. So that's where, and I'm just going to assume, let's say you're watching this video Sunday afternoon. Question number one on Sunday afternoon that I want you to ask yourself is, okay, where's the price at currently with that 50 period moving average? If you're saying, well, Clay, the price is still above it, that's a very good sign. How far up above it? The further up above it, that just tells you that this bounce here that is underway is not only still underway, it's gotten that much more stronger, that much more attractive. Now, if you're saying, well, Clay, actually the price is down below there, okay, not the end of the world. The next question would be, and again, when the resistances are broken, you want to see them act as support. So if you're answering, like I said, that question that the price is down below the purple line, okay, well, where is the price at relative to 59,660? If you're saying, well, the price is at least still above there, then fine. In fact, in that point, that's essentially just some sort of consolidation is happening. Nothing wrong with that at all. Now, if you're saying, well, actually, Clay, the price is down below 59,660, that's where things start to get a little sketchy, because that's implying that there's been a nice move and now the price is drifting back or right back to where it started. Not exactly a great sign. But again, I'm not going to say the end of the world. The end of the world in the sense of, yeah, things are going really bad, is if somehow you're answering the question that the price is down below 56,480, because that would imply that not only has this entire bounce failed, not only has it gone back to where it officially started right here, but it's dropped even lower than that. I'd be pretty shocked if you're answering any questions that way. But nonetheless, those would be the questions I would walk through in order to give yourself the best idea of where Bitcoin stands over the weekend whenever you happen to be watching this video. Now, just as I invited the stock traders, I am inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader, because what you're learning about in this class definitely can and should be used within the world of crypto and Bitcoin. So go get signed up for the class. Like I said, it'll be next week, Thursday, May 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos plus Bitcoin is concerned, if you enjoy these, do a couple things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment. If you have a request, if you'd like for me to try to do an analysis, one of these top 10 videos, leave that down below, and I will definitely give it serious consideration. Or just, give me a thumbs up or tell me what you're watching for next week. So thanks for watching. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Go get signed up for that class, and have a great weekend.